everybody. I am so excited to be here today. This is the 5th episode. Can you believe it's been 5? Winston, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's
Let's
gone by.
talk theater live.
It's going by fast in the most beautiful way possible. So,
Yes, it is. Absolutely. We are so honored to have in the studio today the brilliant, funny, great playwright who is bringing a very interesting piece to the Atlanta Black Theater Festival this year. I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Tony Simmons Henson, and I am the producing director of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival and co-founder, and as well as the producer of this podcast, Let's Talk Theater Live. And I am here with my cohort, the board of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, the board chair Winston Wilson, and Marcus Folmar, the person that I was referencing.
Hello. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Winston, for just having the opportunity, for having the platform, for having the festival. I'm excited to plug in and be a part of it.
We're so happy to have you, Marcus. Marcus, now tell us about your journey. All right, now you're bringing a play called Chicken Stories. Now,
that's like one of the best names I've ever heard, ever.
What'd you say?
One of the best names I've ever heard for.
Oh my gosh! And you should. And this is the graphic for it. And I'm like, a new play hatched by Marcus Ford. Tell us about your journey to Chicken Stories and the Atlanta, and bringing it to the Atlanta Black Theater Festival.
Okay, I would love to. Well, first of all, I'll say it like this: you never know where an idea is going to come from, right? And I'm sure the creatives out there, the writers out there, they'll relate to this. But when I said Chicken Stories for the first time, it came out of my mouth as a complete joke. And I'll tell the story quickly. I had just been to New York. I live in LA, but New York is a constant source of inspiration for me. I feel like every time I go there, I come back with something. But I went there and I saw a couple plays, but one of the plays I saw was a musical called Shucked. And it's actually here in LA right now doing their tour. But Shucked is all about corn. It's a lot of corny jokes and puns, and the storyline is surrounding a corn farm, and it's a lovely, hilarious musical. But
I get it.
Yeah, I left New York and went to see a friend of mine who lives in Philadelphia, doing my kind of East Coast tour, and she had picked me up from the train station, and I walked into her kitchen. She's been gone for a couple hours. And I noticed that her freezer is ajar. And I see frostbite kind of jutting out of it in an unnatural way. And so naturally I try to go and I try to close the freezer, but it won't close. So I made the mistake, I would find out, of pulling it open. And frozen cutlets of chicken spilled out of the freezer like a slot machine, coins from a slot machine, like. And I was like, what is this? All this chicken? What is this? And this same friend, she told me the story. It was an Instacart snafu where instead of a pack of chicken, they had brought her a case of chicken. And now she had all this chicken that she refused to waste. She had given some away and yada, yada, yada. But it had me laughing. And this same friend, one of the craziest stories she ever told me, also had to do with chicken. And I said, you have all these chicken stories. I should write a show about chicken because I just saw one about corn. And I think chicken is way more deserving of a platform. So I said it, and it was a joke. But as soon as I said it, literally as soon as I said it, the synapses started firing. And I was like, wait a minute. And I thought about, chicken within the culture. It's at every family event. It's been with us throughout history. You know, and I began to think about just things from the pop culture, from my life that had to do with it. And I sat down and I jotted down, it was 14 different things right away. And I was like, this is a show. So
Wow.
that's how the idea started. And I didn't know how it was all going to fit together. You know, but I just started writing these different chicken stories. And the end result, the show is a series of vignettes. So that are thematically linked by chicken. And as you go on the journey, you sort of get a little bit of a history. You kind of take a snapshot of the culture today. I had George C. Wolfe's Colored Museum in the sort of back of my mind as I was writing. I was like, you know, these are cool. You know, I want this to be the Colored Museum of this generation, where you can kind of watch this show and get a sense of what was going on in the culture at that time. And so I wrote this thing, and the other little piece, my mom had passed during COVID, and she made the best fried chicken. So mixed in with just this exploration of the culture, there was this notion of writing a tribute to her. And those two things kind of came together, and Chicken Stories is what we ended up with. And so the journey, the second part of that question in terms of getting to the festival, I just wrote a show and I knew that I wanted to put it up as a tribute to her. And we did that here in LA just almost exactly a year ago. We closed, I think it was on the 24th of August last year. And I did it. It was really well received. We got glowing reviews from critics and theater fans alike. And I was like, now what? I worked mostly in TV and film. My background in the long sense is in theater. You know, that's where the love of storytelling first was born, but I hadn't worked in theater in so long. So I was like, now what do I do with it? I don't know. And in asking around, you know, there were a couple festivals that people mentioned, like, you know, I could relate to that. Oh, we take like a indie film to the film festival. I was like, there's theater festivals? I didn't even really know that was a thing. But the Atlanta Black Theater Festival was one of the ones that I heard from a couple different people. Oh, you should take it down there. And so I did my research and I was like, okay. I asked around because I was like, you know, I had heard great reviews from people who had been there or just heard word of mouth about it and, you know, took a chance and submitted the project. And so next week, here we come. Or this week, later this week.
Right.
Don't come next week. Oh man, what a story.
Yeah, what a great story. Marcus, you shared something when you talked about your mother and rest in heaven for your mother. And she seems like she was an inspiration to you. Right. So tell us a little bit about her and anybody else that has been an inspiration for you in your creative journey.
Well, I mean, I would say her and my dad both. Now, when I'm not writing, I also act, and I'm also an acting coach. And what I've discovered as a coach is one of the main hurdles that a lot of actors who come to LA seeking fame, fortune, trying to capture their dreams, one of the hurdles that they face is that they're trying to prove something. Like they haven't gotten the support from home to where they're arriving boots on the ground in LA with feeling wind at their back that I can do this and I'm affirmed by my family. They're coming with, you know, a lot of people are waiting and expecting for me to fail. And I'm trying to prove that, you know, the dream is viable. And those people have a lot harder journey. You know, I've been coaching for, you know, over 15 years. And I can say the people who come with the support of their community, in particular, their parents, just exponentially are more successful, quicker to succeed, and have less of a bumpy journey. Like it's, I mean, this business is emotional. You feel like you're putting yourself on the line every time you go do an audition, or every time you put a piece of writing out there, and everybody's not going to like everything you do. So I wrote that back to my parents, who from the beginning have affirmed my dream.
Wow.
There was never a side eye. There was never like are you sure? It was like early on that, this was something you could do. So they were both wind beneath my wings. And just the spirit of excellence. I would say I took that from my mom. Anything that she does, anything she did, she would do with just excellence, and details matter. That's something that I took from her. And I feel like as I was directing and producing the show, those things showed up and have helped to separate, this show, because a lot of wonderful creative stuff out there. But I feel like those things have kind of caused uh, people to take note of what we're doing.
That is great.
Wow, I'd like you to talk more about your toggling back and forth between theater and film as a creative in both arenas, and help me understand what that's like for you.
Well, it's sort of a newer exploration as a writer. As a performer, I will, New York is going to find its way back into my story again. In 2015, I had the opportunity to go live in New York for 9 months. I had lived all my professional career, all my adult life, really out here in LA. And I went there just to support a friend, actually, who was in a play. And I was staying with another friend who just so happened to be looking for someone to sublet a room in her apartment at the time. And she asked me, do you know of anyone that might want to do that? And as I was walking around Harlem, it was like, I found me a little coffee shop where I was like, I could see myself sitting with my laptop. It's the same thing I do here in LA, but I could see myself doing it in New York. And I eventually took that opportunity to sublet that apartment and just shake life up a bit and go be on the East Coast. But I mentioned that because that is when I got reconnected to my love for live theater and performance. I started doing improv, was the way that I kind of tapped back in. I studied improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade there in New York, and just started seeing a lot of improv shows, and of course, getting those rush tickets to go see Broadway. And it was like a homecoming. It'd been so long since I'd been on a stage, or even really seen a lot of theater. Like they have it out here in LA, but it wasn't a part of my just day-to-day routine to even be checking for what was on stage. But it was like this homecoming. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. And oh yeah, this really is where I feel most sort of made to shine, if I can say it that way. Like I've learned the techniques and the subtleties and all of these things that are, as a performer at least, that you need to bring for film and TV work. But I started, being big and comedic and, feeding off of that immediate sort of response that you get from an audience. When you drop a punchline this way, I get this kind of laugh. But if I drop it that way, I get a different kind of laugh. And it it was just this little flame, I guess, little ember that was still deep down inside of me, that time kind of fanned into flames again. And then, I just, since then, I came back to LA and I've been on stage mostly. Again, the improv is where I've been connecting. But then this play idea came, and now I'm on that path. And I've got my second play that I'm working on right now. And I don't think it'll ever, I'll ever shake it again. I feel like it's now, a way that I have to express my.
Once you become part of theater, it's always in your blood, but it
Yeah.
comes even more ingrained in your blood.
Yeah.
Marcus, you said there's 14 vignettes as part of this production. Tell
Mhm.
us about the team. Do you have about any of the actors or the production people who've helped you get this thing together?
Well, the first person I should mention is my producing partner, Reggie Corelli. He's a longtime friend of mine and fellow actor, and writing partner as well. We have certain things that we work on together. We wrote a film together. The last thing was a film. You can go find it on Amazon Prime or to rent or Apple TV, called A Dark Way Out. It's a suspense thriller that we wrote together. And, anything that we do, even though I wrote this one on my own, he's always right there to help bring to fruition whatever it is that I want to do, and I do the same thing for him. So we write a lot of stuff together, do it separately. So I would say him. He is now in the cast. He wasn't originally. He just originally was like, "Hey, I just want to help you bring this thing forward." When we did it a year ago, but when we got this opportunity to come to the festival, I wanted to do a couple additional shows here in LA so we could, get back in fighting form before we come down. We weren't going to bring a cold show down to you. So we had to heat it up here on our Hollywood stage. And I've got a 8-person cast. 7 of the 8 were able to come back. One of our 8, Darian Sills Evans, he's very prolific actor, Mr. Commercial, he's one of those commercial guys that you've seen in spots all the time. He was in a show called East New York, and he booked something, actually an Apple TV show, that's all I can say, but he's working. So that left a vacancy in the cast, and Reggie has now stepped in to take that role. But the rest of my cast is back. One of the central characters is a character called Papa Creole. We have the vignettes, but he's a character that you see a couple times throughout the run of the play that sort of weaves things together thematically. He's doing a cooking podcast and giving tips on cooking that also double as tips for life and living, which he calls his chicken nuggets.
Well, if they didn't have a reason to go before Papa Creole, it's definitely a reason to come.
And, that role is played by my good friend John Marshall Jones, who works very prolifically. I think people probably still best know him. He was the father and a smart guy in that 90s sitcom and has not stopped working since. And so, he's a face that I'm sure everybody will recognize when we come down there. But everybody is just so talented. One of my favorite discoveries, because we did casting for it. All of the people that I cast, I had known, either worked with before or known it as a friend, except one. We just got a blind submission, this kid named Lavelle Schley. And I was like, he wasn't even able to make the in-person auditions, but he submitted a tape. And I was like, okay, he was great. And he had a resume. I mentioned East New York. he was a series regular on that show with Darian. So I was like, oh, we got some sort of simpatico thing going there. And he's just amazing. All the cast is great. Yeah, you'll see.
Well, well, I tell you, I cannot wait. You said you had to warm it up. Let me tell you something. This doggone play. Let me move the banner. This play is not warm. It's smoking hot. It is smoking hot. And let me tell you something. Tickets are going fast. So
Okay.
we're about halfway sold out of your show. So I want to encourage everybody. You know, everybody waits to the last minute to get their tickets. But let me tell you, the venue that we're at this year is a little smaller than we're traditionally used to, y'all, because y'all know Southwest Arts Center is under construction. So we're at the
Drum roll.
Latanya, yeah, drum roll, right? The Latanya Richardson Jackson and Samuel Jackson Performing Arts Center on Spelman's campus. So Spelman is our illustrious, prestigious host this year. And I believe we're the first major event since the ribbon cutting in just this past February of this brand new state of the art facility. It's a little more intimate. I love that it is. It's a little more intimate. Now, typically we have a full house at the Southwest Arts Center, which is a bigger venue. So let me tell you something. Don't sleep on this one. Do not sleep on this one. And I'm talking to folks that have not already purchased their tickets, because this show is going to be absolutely off the charts. It is brilliantly written. It is so clever. That's what I like. I like smart, witty, clever stuff. I don't like your regular slapstick comedy. And if you're into that, that's fine. But this makes you think. And then you like go back, you go two steps forward, you circle back, and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you laugh. So has that been the experience for your audiences? Because that's how I felt when I was reading the script.
It really was. And that's what I wanted. That's what I envisioned. I mean, but the response has been better even than I could have anticipated. And I'm just, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna tell this story. I had a show. Like, I wrote this very quickly, and that's not typical for me. Like, I'm a writer who likes to really take his time, but part of what fanned my flames was the tribute aspect that I mentioned. You know, my mom's, what would have been her 80th birthday was approaching, and I had this vision of like, that would be a great time to present it. So that was sort of, I was hustling to get this thing written. And I thought, you know, if I came into the year 2024 with a script that was ready to go, like I could make, you know, when I wanted to do it. I didn't quite make it, but it got together very quickly, and I had a reading right in this room. This is my living room. I kind of had a bunch of my actor friends come over, and we sat around and we read it. And I had a couple other friends to just sort of watch and give feedback. And it was really well received, and it was really funny, and it was thoughtful, but it was incomplete. I didn't know it was. But later that same week, one of the people that I invited to watch found, of all things, a TikTok video the week after watching my show and sent me a TikTok video, which elevated everything, because this TikTok video was about the history of Black people in chicken, which, I mean, it was sort of alluded to in a way, but it was not in the show in the same way that it is now. So when I saw that, and I already had my Papa Creole character, who was a vessel to now just infuse some of this, and what, you know, chicken, what I learned in this video, and that sort of sent me to do more research and really elevated chicken to clearly the symbol of Black entrepreneurialism, which, I'll just throw that out there. And when you come see the show, you'll sort of understand how that really does function. Because, so many of the first side hustles and entrepreneurial endeavors that involve Black people also involve chicken. And it just elevated everything. And it was just like, it really,
that makes sense. Yeah.
just being sort of entertaining to educational. There was some depth of importance to it that it took on. And I also knew I had something because as I began to sort of just share what I'm working on to this friend or that one, everybody had their own chicken stories. I was like, this is something. Like, everybody's got their own. And within the show, the way it ended up working, I mean, the vignettes are all about this, like whatever that thing is, and most of them are based on true stories. Like one, I'll just give you tease. There's one that's called Comfort Food. It's based on a very true story of a friend of mine going to a relative's wake and being really upset to discover that they were serving vegan fried chicken. Like, I just lost my brother. Eat some real fried chicken. And so we're talking about the ritual of comfort food in these settings.
Stop. Please stop. Stop. Don't give any more away for free. Please.
That part has a
stop on that.
Marcus.
You gotta hear. Listen, you gotta be in the audience to hear the rest of that. That is absolutely hilarious.
It's so hilarious. I'm so ready for that.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! I cannot wait. I am so honored that you decided that the Atlanta Black Theater Festival would be a worthy platform for your work. I really am. It always inspires me to know that, and Winston, I've been talking about this for quite some time. I've been trying to retire, but every time, when I hear stuff like this, and I know the limited opportunities that there are for Black playwrights in particular, and then what's happening in the climate today about stripping away our contributions and any documentation of the contributions to the building of our culture and contributions to the community. You are like iconically, you're a historic figure in this moment. Even though the story is funny, it is rooted so much in our culture and heritage that it has to be preserved. And I honestly, I'm speaking from my mouth, hopefully to God's ears. I believe that this particular piece is so promising. And I see a lot of theater. I've been doing theater for 21 years. I grew up in the backyard of Broadway. I believe this one is the next best thing. This is going to be hot. That's my prediction. Circle back and give me credit when it happens. And always know that your first home on the East Coast
That's right.
was the Atlanta Black Theater Festival.
Yes.
Go ahead, Winston.
Yeah. Usually I am the serious one in these conversations, Marcus, and it is unbelievably hard to be serious and talking about the excitement of chicken stories. I just want everyone that's out there and you're thinking about what are you going to do this Labor Day? Just listen to Marcus. Just lean in, like listen to what we're saying. Like lean in a little bit. Like what are you supposed to be doing? You need to be part of this history. So we're about talking about our stories, but you are part of the story when you come to the ABTF.
That's right.
When you come there, you ain't just coming there just to see one. You coming there for an experience where you get to see Marcus, you get to see all of us. We hug you if that's appropriate. We do all kinds of things in order to make sure that we share that we love you as family. And so I'm so excited. I'm always excited. I've been around the ABTF for half of its time, and I'm so excited about this particular year for all the reasons that Tony said. For your
Let me
story, Marcus,
do
this
one little
really the reasons.
I got one little confession because I didn't mention my brother lives in lives in Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
I'm there with some regularity, and on my last trip there, I just made my way over to Spelman College. It was I think it was the beginning of summer break, so all the kids were sort of moving out, and I was just like, let me just see if I can get in here and take a peek at this theater. I was successful, and it is beautiful. I am so excited to be able to present our play in a venue like that. It's gorgeous, like the entryway. Oh my God, that is historic. And, I feel like people need to come down just to see that. And all of the shows, entertainment that you're going to get is going to be bonus. But it was really spectacular to see.
I know you feel something when you walk that campus, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like none other. You feel like you're walking into greatness. I agree. I hold there are spiritual ancestors all around it. Just I think anointing our stories. I do believe that.
And then the last thing, that I want to just extend a very special invitation to the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, because I learned that that we have a board member that is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, which I am, if that didn't come across. But two of our other cast members are Noops. So please support the festival. Come support the show.
I think that's what awesome
yeah, that is great. And my husband got a text. My husband, he's the Kappa in the family, and my son is a Kappa as well. So I'm a silhouette. I'm a silhouette. I reject that, but I don't want to be nobody silly. So anyway,
I feel surrounded, Marcus.
That's another story for another day.
But in a great way.
Yeah, in a great way. I am so proud of the brothers. They are definitely spreading the word. That's why everybody, if you're not a Kappa, you need to get your ticket, because the Kappas are going to be in the house. And my husband got a text, and he's like, "Hey, is there a brother? Is there a Noop in the festival this year?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I got a text." So tickets are going fast. So the brothers will show up for you. I tell you that.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. All right. So any other parting words of wisdom from the chickenettes?
Let's see. Parting words, like it's just well, maybe the parting words would be for the organization team. I don't know what's planned in terms of food out there, but y'all might want to have some chicken somewhere on the premises. I will say, when we did our show a year ago, food was nowhere in our planning, but we had 2 previews before, we opened officially. And at intermission, people came out, "Where's the chicken?" They were looking for the chicken. It might be a little subliminal, but after talking about it for an hour and 15 minutes, so I don't know if you might want to quick get a chicken vendor. You leave them on the table.
What a great idea! I have to check and see if there's any chicken on the menu of the vendors that will be there. But what a great idea! Well, I think you should get a chicken sponsor.
That's right.
We're working on chicken sponsor.
Right. They should be coming to you, Marcus.
That's
all right.
Thing. Yeah.
Marcus Folmar, what an absolute pleasure to have you. I cannot wait again, I am honored that you decided that this platform was the one you wanted to share your East Coast debut of Chicken Stories. And I cannot wait to see it. And safe travels when you get here. I know you're coming in tomorrow. You're coming in tomorrow, right?
Well, yes and no. No, that was my
Okay.
original plan. That was my
Okay.
as the actor's life, because I'm an actor myself as well. I booked a commercial.
Oh,
Good for
congratulations.
you.
Good news, but
Good
that
news.
just forced me to delay my departure a little bit. My team and the cast will be boots on the ground there Thursday. So
Okay.
we'll see them at the opening night event.
Yeah.
I unfortunately will not be there yet. Uh,
Okay.
for this opportunity, I now have to come in. I'll be there bright and early Friday morning.
Okay.
So,
Well, safe travels to you. And again, congratulations on success of past and future of Chicken Stories. And yeah, for those of you who know, we're going to kick off Thursday with the opening reception. We're meeting with the cast and producers and donors, and it's being hosted by the board. Unfortunately, that event sold out. So we do not have any tickets left, and we've got about 20 folks on the wait list. So I don't think that spot's going to open up. So don't let that be your story for Chicken Stories. Don't be the one on the outside looking in. Get your tickets. The ticket link is scrolling across the bottom. It is going to be this Saturday at 5 o'clock. Your show is at 5 o'clock. Perfect time. 5 o'clock at Spelman's Latanya Richardson Jackson and Samuel Jackson Performing Arts Center. Thank you so much, Winston. Close us out.
We've got so many wonderful things on top of Chicken Stories that we want you to be participating. We've got an amazing creative arts conference with phenomenal presenters that's going to really help to educate and embolden all of us in regards to our creative journey. So please participate in that as much as possible. And we're going to obviously close out the show on Saturday night in a phenomenal event back at the hotel. So it's going to be just an amazing experience. So I think there's this thing where we got to think about theater's not a one shot. The ABTF is not a one shot. When you come
Yeah.
in here, every single story, and most notably Chicken Stories, is going to change your life.
Yes.
Make sure you get down with us and make sure you be part of this. Make sure you say hello to all of us. And so I'm so excited. And usually for me, I'm not as young as I might look. And I get super excited about the ABTF. I can stay up and talk about it forever because this is our life. This is our story. This is our journey. And Marcus, we are so excited about you and this journey being part of it with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
You.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. See you this weekend.